If you are looking at new construction in South Florida and you put Palm Beach Gardens on your radar, well, if that's the case, this is a video you're going to want to see. This week, we are in the high-end community of Artistry in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. My name is Ray Fernandez. I'm with Living in Palm Beach, Florida, powered by eXp Luxury. Welcome. Truly a work of art, as the name says. We are in a very good location, more on that later, for Palm Beach Gardens. Palm Beach Gardens is very highly sought after. When you go very far west, you have Avenir. We've done a ton of videos on Avenir. This is significantly more east compared to Avenir. So if you want to be in Palm Beach Gardens, and location is a factor, this is a community I would consider. Each week we look at communities, we look at what it's like living here in South Florida, in and around Palm Beach, Florida. We often look at communities such as this, Artistry. We have found we do relocations. We help people who are considering relocating to this brilliant area we call Florida. And we help people understand what are some of the factors are involved. And more importantly, like a video like today, we explore some of the high-end, some of the nicest areas to consider here in all of South Florida. Artistry has been around for a little bit. It's 465 homes, and I wanted to get this. We've covered this community before, but I wanted to get this community in now because right now we're at the end. I did a video recently that was sort of described as the end of Arden. Well, here we are, the end of Artistry in Palm Beach Gardens. They are literally they're almost about 85% sold. So we are getting near the end of the homes here. And the other factor here, and we'll talk more about that later, the other factor here is Coulter the Builder is going through a transformation where all their newer communities are using a theme called Project 21. This community, there's what do you call the model center down there. The models are down there. This community was built prior to, or started prior to that venture Project 21. So they have some of the old styles. They have the highest end homes are here at Artistry. Once a lot of these models, once they are done and sold, they are gone forever. As I mentioned, one of the most unique things about this community is its location. And for that, let's go to the map.
See, here is a map of South Florida as a whole. As we go to northern Palm Beach County, you have Palm Beach Gardens. And to the north of it, like just basically north of where everything is Artistry. Unlike if you go way over here, where my cursor is pointing, it's Panther National. That's Avenir. A lot further west, we talked about how it's going to connect to Coconut and go over. Well, if you're in Artistry, you're sort of already over. You're just a little bit north of all the stuff, the Gardens Mall. Like here it's Artistry, and here's the Gardens Mall. So you are pretty close to the Gardens Mall and downtown. The Gardens, when Coulter the Builder bought this piece of property, they bought this sliver that's in between these three main roads, Route 95, the Florida Turnpike, and this to the south is called Hood Road. This triangle is what makes up Artistry in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. A lot depends on, in this community if you buy in here, where you are going to, what lot you have. People have said that the homes here along 95 is more noise, especially if you're going to go right here, than the Turnpike. The Turnpike is a less traveled road. So some of the cream of the crop in this neighborhood is going to be right here in the front here, off this lake. They've got about 5 or 6 plots in here that they're making. That's going to be high end. We'll talk about that later in the video. Stick around to the end. We also explore this forest. It's like a preserve. It is like a Florida forest that we explore. It's one of the amenities. They have walking trails through there. But this is going to be the where those lots are. When you come into the community, you're coming in through here, through Hood Road, and there's your sales center. Do not go in the sales center on your own. Big mistake. More on that later. But anyways, there are some good lots left in here. Although we're getting towards the tail end of Artistry, there are some good lots towards the middle here and a little bit closer to the turnpike than to 95. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. But this is the map of what we call Artistry in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida.
I hope you found that helpful. There's also something unique about this community in terms of a structure. Stick around to the end because we're going to go over all the numbers, the HOA, the CDD. If you don't know what a CDD is and you're looking at homes in South Florida, you need to know. It's a significant factor when buying a home. We're going to also talk about what you need to put down. When you put down money, well, we'll talk about a little bit now. When you put down money on a new construction home in South Florida, generally speaking, it's 10%. It's a little bit more money here. It's 20%. They have a program, if you put down more, that you get to earn interest on it, and it gets to lower your cost basis of your house as reported to taxes to the county. It's a great way to get your real estate taxes lower in the long run. Reach out to our team on that one. That's a powerful factor. But in any case, this week we are going to explore one of the nicest communities in Palm Beach and South Florida, Artistry. 18 years ago, my family and I relocated to this beautiful part of the world we call Palm Beach and South Florida, and we haven't looked back. Today, we truly find honor to help people, perhaps like you, do the exact same thing. If you are considering moving to anywhere here in Florida, not just South Florida, but anywhere in Florida, and you want to ask questions of people who've actually done it before, well, there's a few ways to get a hold of us. Down below is our email address. That's one great way. Also, on the screen, you see our phone number. You can either call or text that number. But literally, two of the best ways is in the description and the comment section. There's a link. Click on that link. What that'll do is that'll set up some time for us to speak, either through a phone call or through a Zoom, whatever way you feel most comfortable. In any case, we have your back when it comes to relocating here to sunny South Florida. I'm on Model Row here at Artistry in Palm Beach Gardens. Once this community is done, this is going to be, we'll talk more about that later. They're not going to see these models again. They're going to a different format, their Project 21 format. So these are like a one in a lifetime, the last chance to get in on these exquisite homes. These are all very high-end homes. They're bigger homes. It's in the heart. We are in the heart of middle part of Palm Beach Gardens. But let me tell you, I'm looking. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 4 models that are visible here. The West being the bigger. We're going to go into that one later. That's their biggest. The Vasari, the Trumbull. We were in that one. Anyways, what I want to do is talk about that's their sales center over here. What I represent, do not, it's a big mistake. If you come here and walk directly into that sales center, that is a big mistake. Here at Living in Palm Beach, Florida, we highly recommend independent representation. For that means that we will help you on your journey as you purchase a home here in South Florida. But for that, we need to be the pre-register a culture. They have a process where we can pre-register you. But we have to know ahead of time, obviously, you can't just come here, or we have to be here in your first visit. Most builders, that's the way it goes. That's how we can represent you. If you come here and then call me a week later and say, Ray, I was just at Artistry, and I want to ask you some questions. I want to help you. I want your help. I can help you. I can answer questions, but I cannot help you. I cannot be there for your journey. We need to be there on your first visit in most cases with builders to have that independent representation. Here are some really significant benefits when it comes to getting independent representation. There are resales in this community. They're not going to tell you about resales in this community over there in the sales center. We will. There are some homes that are competing with these homes, and we can help you. We can help you compare that. If this is not, as we get to know you, if this is not the right community for you, we can help you. Look at other communities, like let's say Avenir might be a better fit for you, or Alton right down the street, which is also a culture community, might be a better fit for you. We'll know. Even though they're right next to each other and they're the same builder, there are significant differences between what you get here in Artistry versus Alton. Alton doesn't even have a gate, but they go for as much, if not more money over there. So we can help you in that regard. We'll be there for your whole journey. We have to introduce you to the builder. I'll mention later about don't register on the website. That's a story for then. But we have to introduce you to the builder, and we will be there for your whole journey. So as you go from visiting and your options, we can help give you guidance on that. If you're out of state, and your building, we could stop in from time to time if you so desire. We could film, the progress of it. We do that all the time. We do lots of relocation. That is our gig. And we help people that are relocating to this area and maybe don't have access to see it that often. Say, Ray, if you're going to be in Artistry in the this coming week, let me know. I'd love to get pictures. We'll help you in that regard. Last but not least, we have a state-of-the-art transaction coordination team. So we will help keep the builders accountable. There's a million reasons to use us. There's no cost to you out of your pocket. There's no extra fee for using us here living in Palm Beach, Florida. It's the builder who pays us out of a marketing budget. There's no discount for not using us. You can ask them. You can ask any builder. There's no discount for not using us. We are paid by the builder on a separate marketing budget. It's a no-brainer to use a company like ours and living in Palm Beach, Florida, because all benefit, and we could do it with zero out of your pocket. One of the cons when it comes to living in Artistry is the noise. So we'll talk more about that later. That's one of the thing that people sometimes talk about that are considering here, but there are ways around it, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that. But Palm Beach Gardens is like one of the nicest areas in Palm Beach. If you look at the average cost of a home in Palm Beach is roughly today about $640,000. If you look at Palm Beach Gardens, the average home is $1 million. So this is a high-end area. So if you say you're in Palm Beach Gardens, there's some significance to that. There's some elegance to that. It is a highly desirable place. It's also dissimilar to Boca Raton, which has also got a sort of a allure to the name of that, Boca Raton. This is in northern Palm Beach County. And what'll happen is this is a little bit more away from things. It's a little bit quieter here, and in general, there's more space here. If you go to Boca Raton, it's as crowded as can be. As an example, one of the homes, new construction communities that we're working is Lotus Palm and Lotus Edge. It's a whole different environment. Reach out to our team if you want to know some of the differences. We have a new construction website, by the way. I don't say this often enough. If you want to look at new construction homes only in our area, reach out down below, send us an email. I'll send you a website that you can search only new construction in the area. But there's a big difference between Boca Raton and Palm Beach Gardens. But if you live in Palm Beach Gardens, there's a lot to be said. This is the high end when you're talking about Palm Beach and in South Florida. So one of the things I like about what they offer here today is they have both quick delivery homes and to-be-built homes. If you have the time, you could build it from scratch, any of these homes, not any of them, but what they have left. Like the Dega, you can't build anymore. More on that later. It'll take about 9 to 11 months, depending on the size of your home. So the way we help a lot of families navigate selling a home in another place than buying here. There's a really easy, common sense way to do it. We've helped lots of families do it. Reach out. We'd love to explain how that works. But if you go into contract here at Artistry, it's a little bit more money here than some of the other builders. Expect to put down about 20%. I do know they've made some exceptions, so reach out to me if you want some guidance on that. But you will have to put down about 20%. After you go into contract, you have a designs appointment, your options appointment. You'll put down more at that point. Then at that point forward, everything else comes at closing. When we go into these models, you'll see that they are completely decked out with upgrades. The average, I asked the consultant this afternoon, and every bill is a little bit different, but on the low end, people spend 10%. So you take your purchase price, add 10%, that's what you're going to pay in upgrades. Some popular upgrades are like cabinetry, flooring, and stuff like that. She guided me 15 to 20%. I believe it. On a high-end community, generally speaking, you might pay a little bit more in terms of upgrades, but also your standard features in the upper collections, in the upper homes are higher. Like there's a builder around town in their lower collection that does not include impact windows, as an example. They have impact windows here. They have lots of standard features here that would be upgrades in other communities. So I'm in one of their more popular models. This is called the Michelangelo. It is about 3,000 square feet. What I find is that these homes are quite unique. Coulter the Builder is getting away from this style. They have a Project 21 it's called. They have a program that all their new communities are using, whether you go to PGA Verano, Crestwind, or any of the newer ones, they're going that direction. So the homes here that you see at Artistry are truly stunning. And this is your last opportunity to get this kind of home here at Coulter, or literally anywhere in the area, because once they sell these, they're done, they're gone, and that's the end of this chapter. So they have a total of 6 floor plans here at Artistry. All of them are, they're sort of big. The smallest model is called the Degas, spelled Degas, and they literally have one left. After that home sells, it's a quick delivery home. After that home sells, that is it. So probably by the time this video airs, it will be gone. So, but there, like always, there are resales. I was in with a consultant a short while ago, and we were looking over some of the resales. None of the resales currently are priced below like value what you can buy here. So I get this a lot from people. Well, if I go to the resale, can I get a better price? Lots of times, no. Lots of times you're competing, or the builder's competing with the resales, and they are about the same price. But going back to the Degas, you are going to be able to get that in a resale. It's a smaller home. Its square feet is 2,381 square feet. And so it's a smaller one for this community, and it's very popular. It's one of the most popular ones. They have 2 collections. It's called the Style Collection, which the last one there is the Degas, and after that's done, this community is like 80% sold. That's why we're talking this, why we're calling this video some version of the end of Artistry, because that's what we're sort of dealing with. 80% sold, and let me recap a little bit here. 465 homes. We've done videos on Artistry before, so I've mentioned all this before. 465 homes in total. Degas is the last one in the style. The Culture Plan, which is basically 6 plans, that's where most of the activity is. Most of what they have left is. Look at this. Look at this wine cellar. Pretty nice, right? The designer did a great job here, as they always do in these models. There's lots of upgrades here. Culture Plan that's where this one is. This Michelangelo is in the Culture Plan, and I know that you guys want to know a little bit more about pricing. Let's go there really quickly. This is one of the more popular ones. So this is 1.6 million. So 1.6 million is what you get for the base price of the house. In general, the prices now today are going to be about 1.75 million, all the way up to about 3. So that's the sweet spot for Artistry today. So you are able to get the Degas. The Degas right now is roughly about 1.5 million, but that'll be gone. But so we're dealing with the higher collections. But those are sort of the realistic all-in prices. This, if you go to the website, it says 1.6 million. And like I've said in many videos, if those who follow me know this, what you see on the website is just the base price of the home. Often in Florida, when you walk in, well, first of all, it's got a dramatic entrance. I got to show you some of these features. If you're coming in from the Michelangelo, this is what it looks like. One of the features that this builder, Coulter's the builder, one of the features that they use that people appreciate are the high ceilings. When I take people to several like competing builders, competing communities, one of the factors that these people went out with often is because they have high ceilings. Also, like you can tell, the space is very open. You see the sliders there, very high. These are all features people like. You see the windows, lots of light in here. And in terms of office, so this has become a big thing, especially since COVID, is to have a space for an office. So you can make this anything, really. Technically, you can make this a bedroom if you really want. But here's like the office space. Lots of times when you walk in a Florida home today, you'll see some version of this den like we see here in the Michelangelo model here at Artistry in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. So let's kick it up a notch. Let's go into the Trumbull here in Artistry in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. So this is what it looks like when you walk in this model, the Trumbull. As you can see, this is a stunning house. Great, nice entrance, living area right off when you walk in. They've chosen to put a grand piano here, which is I think gives it a certain degree of elegance. The models here are decked out. They're like stunning as can be. The upgrades in here I can't even begin to quantify. This house is bigger. This is roughly 4,300 square feet. So this is a pretty big house. It starts at 1.9 million is the base price. So you're kicking it up a notch by about 300,000 roughly. These are all rough numbers, by the way. The sliders, as you can tell, same concept all the way to the top. Same concept with the windows, but it's a little bit less open. Even though it's a bigger house, it's a little bit less open. They have this sort of, when you come in, is sort of makes for the home to be a little bit more cut up. So as you come to the kitchen, which is nice, like look here, you have a butler's pantry. Now, some people prefer this. You have, all this is your butler's pantry. You got stuff down here. Nice big food pantry right in here. And it leads to the dining room, which is literally off the entrance. A lot of people, the traditionalists out there will appreciate this model. Having the dining room and the butler's pantry, which makes for it to cut up a little bit. But we also they have something like a brewery up here. I gotta go through this. This is unique. Now this is definitely an upgrade. A lot of their stuff is personalizable, so you can change it up. This is not gonna be your standard, but this is a nice concept. Look at this. Now for your dog lovers, you're gonna love this room. You've got the dog pitcher, you got your dog hangers, you got your dog shower in there. Can you see that? It's your dog, that's your dog bath. I think that's pretty nice. Then you go over here and we have what they call it a brewery. So you have a room, they call it the brewery. You can get to it from outside. So this is very multi-generational. That's a term like builder. When I was just in there with the consultant this morning, that's a term that came up. Builders love that term, multi-generational. What that means is that you could have a student that's home from college or just came back from college trying to look for work. They can live upstairs in another area, a separate entrance. Or it could be your parents, your in-laws and so forth, that they have their own little entrance. It makes it feel like it's their own home. So once I get to the top of the stairs here in the Trumbull, I can go this way or that way, which is nice. You don't see that too often. I'm going to choose to go this way because I want to bring out what we see here. Common in Florida, a loft. This is a super functional area. You get to the top of the stairs. It's not as common in other states from what I know. But in Florida, it's in the nicer builders, the up-to-date, imaginative builders use this concept. I'll see if I can get out here. Should be able to. I love this. Yeah, I can. So they have the loft. It's almost like your second family room. All this area to sit in, your TV area. You'll have the bedrooms are all up here. So this is like a second area to hang out as a family. This is unique. I mean, look at the size of this deck, and look where it overlooks. Look at this nonsense. I say nonsense, but it's really pretty good. It's like you're in a resort on vacation. It looks so nice. Backs up to a preserve. Lots of properties here back up to a preserve. So one of the cons when it comes to living in Artistry is the noise. So more on that in a minute. So this is something that if you go to design your house is likely going to be, this is an upgrade and it's going to cost you something. I've seen this with other builders, but it's something that I think it's worth the money, because if this is a feature that people do appreciate, years down the line when you're looking to sell your house 10 years later, you will get your money back then some if you incorporate like a loft, not a loft, but a patio off the loft in the upstairs section of your home. All right, continuing with the upstairs, and I'll go into the other topic I was about to say, which is an important one the cons of Artistry. As you guys know, we like to go over the pros and cons. It's why people appreciate us, because we look at the good and bad of everything that these builders do and communities do. This is your suite, your master suite. It is nice. See this stuff? That tray ceiling would be included, but all that stuff you see in it is an upgrade. Your master bath is ridiculous. I'm not going to go too much in there. I don't normally go into too many baths with these videos, but I want to go. I remember I went to the top of the stairs, and we had two sides. This is what it looks like from the top of there. So we made that right to the loft. Now we're going to go to the other side. Yeah, this is very, very multi-generational. This is your upstairs. When you have upstairs, this is your washing machine. When you have the bedrooms upstairs, lots of times the builders put the washing machines upstairs. The only people that hate that are plumbers. This is basically an apartment. This is your student's apartment. He has his own little area. No one can bother him. He can do his thing. I wouldn't say in-laws because it's stairs. A lot of in-laws, you would probably use the downstairs multi-generational area. But you could tell this is a big house. It even has a nice patio. Off the bedroom. So this is what they call a multi-generational use in a new construction home here in Florida. One of the cons sometimes people bring up if they're considering Artistry is the street noise. I don't know how well you can hear it here. I hear it a little bit. You are nestled, if you look at this on a map, we are nestled in between the Florida Turnpike and Route 95. Now, in speaking to the consultant, and I think she's right, because there's less traffic on the Turnpike than 95. So if you're near 95, it's going to be a little bit more of a factor than if you're on the Turnpike. But this is a beautiful backyard, isn't it? So there are some lots where you can get away from 95. And those lots, of course, are going to cost more money. And so you can get, look how beautiful this is. You can get a lot that is away and nice and quiet. It really depends on how sensitive your ears are. A lot of people, if they do this, so if they have a lot like this, like it's close to the highway. I'm pretty close to the highway now. I don't know how well you can hear it, but they'll put like a water feature there to like a waterfall to drown out the noise. So that's something some people do. But there are some lots that are away from this. There are actually 6. I think it's 5 or 6 lots. I have to look. Don't quote me. It's either 5 or 6 lots that are ultra high end, that are the preems, like the penthouse of Artistry. Although we're not built up like that, but yeah, they are the best lots, and they go for a lot of money. I'll go through that in a minute. I'll have my pricing and go through it, but none of them have sold yet because they are priced a lot higher than anything else. But when it comes to location, it's going to be the cream of the crop here at Artistry in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. So the price of the lot. So when you look online, but don't register on their website. That's a mistake. Don't register on their website, because what will happen is they'll assign you to somebody, and you want someone like us living in Palm Beach, Florida. We work with all the builders. We know that all the people that work here are good. The Coulter staff, their consultants are top of the line. But once we get to know you, we could assign you with who we think would be a good fit. We want someone who's thorough, who's going to be working really hard for you, and we can help pick out that person once we get to know you a little bit. So don't register online. Let us help you. Let us help you in that regard. So the cost of a lot on the low end is $50,000. So on the website, it's just the base price of the house, and they always go up. But right now, that's what you see there is the base price of the house without upgrades. More on that in a second too. $50,000 is what it's going to cost you for the land. A lot of the land, as I mentioned before, is off a preserve, which is a bonus in my book. or off water. It goes up to 375. The normal lots are 50 to 375, depending on location, depending on where it backs up to. Now, those lots I was talking about, those 5 to 6 lots that are premium lots, are somewhere between in the 600,000s to the 800,000s. So if you want, those lots are in a quiet area. They are away from everything else. They're, so if you want to spend that kind of money, they haven't sold yet. But my sense is there's a deal to happen. And if you want to help me, have me help you negotiate a deal on that, that's what I do. I'm very good at that. Perhaps we can do that. But right now they've been a little bit stubborn and holding out like towards the end of this community, which community is like almost 85% sold. So they've been holding out selling those lots because they're the premium lots. A lot of builders do that. Even in the condos, they won't sell the penthouses until the very end lots of times because they want the sales to pick up and to drive the higher end up. But anyways, there's a strategy to all this. Reach out to our team if you want to know what we would recommend, a strategy, if you want to consider buying here in Artistry and negotiating a deal here in Artistry or any new construction here in Palm Beach and South Florida. So now we're going to go into the cream of the crop here at Artistry. This model is their biggest. It's the West. And you'll see once you walk in, the entrance here is dramatic. So as you can see, as you'll see in a second, it's a very dramatic entrance. I am going to walk in the house as if you are walking into the house, just to give you an idea. Notice when I turn this around, the width of the hallway to get into the main room. It's extraordinarily wide compared to most other new construction homes you see here in Florida. Couple of things I want to note here. Look at the ceilings, the ceiling heights. Gigantic. They're really tall. I mentioned about the office area. Well, this is actually, it's sort of like an office, but it looks like they're actually made it like a dining room. I say that because right off here is like a butler's pantry that goes into the kitchen and the food, similar to the other model that we had seen. So this is sort of a smaller type of dining room they're using here as an office. That's how they're showing it. If you notice here too, again, upgrades galore. These are nice appliances. This is this monogram? Yeah, it's G monogram. They've got the double ovens, 2 sets of double ovens. You can appreciate that. And look at the size of this refrigerator. I mean, you got this going here. And you got this going here. I mean, you could have a really big family and not still utilize this entire refrigerator here at the West model in Artistry in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. So this is a factor I wanted to mention about what they do here. Again, they're going to Project 21 that allows for even more personalization. There's a lot of personalization here in this community at Artistry, but in general, that's Coulter, the builder's signature, is to allow for more personalization. One of the thing, with the exception of one model here, one floor plan here, they have all their models have en suites. What does that mean? If you go upstairs to the bedrooms, which we'll peek up there in a minute, all the bedrooms have bathrooms off them. This is a 5 to 6 bedroom home. It's a 5.5. It can be as much as 6. If it's a 5.5, it has 5 bathrooms. So every single room will have their own bathroom. That's called an ensuite for those technical terms here we use in building and new construction. And you can look at the kitchen. The kitchen's completely elegant. I want to mention one more thing before I show you this. One of the factors that we find a lot and very common is this. This is like one of the biggest islands that you will see. It's wide and it's long. They're utilizing the waterfall overhang for the countertop. Most of the new construction now is they're using quartz. Some people still use granite because they like granite. Very traditional. If you go here, they have a bedroom off the first floor, and you can see, like I mentioned, ensuite bath. This is exactly what I mean. Off this bedroom, you have this bathroom here. So, and it's right by the pool. So if you have an in-law, this would be the perfect place. They could just sort of, they don't have to walk up the stairs to where everything else is. But let me quickly take a peek outside because Northerners love pools. When you're struggling in the January, February, March time frame, this is something we're content. We don't have to contend. We don't have to contend with that. This is what we're looking at and appreciating. So I originally was going to show you the upstairs of this elegant house, the west, but I set off the alarm. I went outside, tried to go outside, and woo, it's still going off now. Don't know if you can hear it. One of the good things about homes here in Florida they use impact windows here. Even though there's a massive alarm going on inside that house right now, I'm outside, you can barely hear it. Because of the impact windows, it makes it very efficient from a temperature and cost perspective in terms of your air conditioning, number one. It makes it so that it muffles most of the sound, which is really good. So I talked about the factor of sound here in Artistry. If you're inside, that's not going to be a factor. And last but not least, in terms of the reason they really build them is for hurricanes. So they give you ample protection, not ample, but significant protection when it comes to major storms that we do get here from time to time in South Florida. So here living in Palm Beach, Florida, we explore these new construction communities all the time. I personally and my company, we have a very strong relationship with all the builders. We know the pros and cons of each builder. Some are really good when it comes to financing and what they can give you and deliver. Some are really good with incentives. Right now, this community has significant incentives. I've seen it more at times. So if you want to know, like what they say, where the bodies lie, we can help you. At any given time, there are better incentives at one community over another. One of the benefits to working with a company like mine, like ours, living in Palm Beach, Florida, is we can help you with that. So we speak with all the builders. We know the personality of each builder. Some builders are better. Some communities are better than others. And once you come down here for a visit, we highly recommend you do that. It takes a little bit of time for us to plan all this stuff. We want you to work with the best person at these builders. So what we need to do is give us as much time as possible so we can plan it. And we can plan your trip when it comes to exploring here, South Florida, and its new construction. So I'm here at the amenities, and I'm going to go over some of the financial stuff here. I know a lot of people who are looking at these communities, new construction communities, want to know the financial aspects. What are the HOA? What is the CDD? If you don't know what the CDD is, and you're looking at new construction in Florida, you need to know what it is. But let me go over some of the math right here, right now. So I'm at the pool area. They have a lot of amenities here. I mean, it's not as elaborate as what you'll get in Avenir, but we are in a more centralized part of Palm Beach Gardens. You do get these, which are nice. These cabanas to hang around the pool, which I think is really nice. Your amenities, $522 per month. It includes a lot, including this pool and everything else that they have to offer, a kids center and whatnot. CDD. So when these communities are built out, the builder needs to clear this area out. They typically take a bond out, and they pass that cost on to, oftentimes, to the homeowners. Not always, but sometimes they partially subsidize it. Sometimes 100% subsidize it, but usually more often than not, they don't subsidize it, and they pass it on to the homeowners, and it does come to you in terms of your taxes. I often get questions about what should I expect my real estate taxes to be if I buy a new construction home. That's something that let's have a conversation about that. When we moved here, we moved here 18 years ago, as I mentioned in the intro, or towards the beginning, to this area. My real estate taxes from New York compared to Florida were lower, but not as much as I thought. In general, that's what I find people feel. If they ask me, is it really that high? Gone are the days of the 1980s when Florida real estate taxes were really low. Remember this, there's no state tax here in Florida, and they need to state income tax, and they got to figure out a way to get their money back, and that's how they do it. So the CDD, so when they came in, builder came and cleared all this area out. They took a bond out. Now you as a homeowner, in your taxes, you will get assessed a CDD fee in addition to your regular taxes. And again, we'll reach out to our office if you want to know what that is. In this particular case, it's anywhere from $3,500 to $4,000 a year. Again, in your taxes. It's not part of your HOA, but it's something that you need to be aware of. I don't want you, if you're buying with me, I don't want you to be surprised and say, hey, Ray, what's this? That doesn't happen because one of the reasons why people use us for, as I mentioned, independent representation, because we will give you the whole scoop. Not always do people mention this until it's sort of too late. So we know the pros and cons, and we want you to have a very transparent transaction that we can help you with here when buying a home. And if they're not telling you about CDDs, they should. One of the features they have here as an amenity is they have these really elaborate walking trails. It's off this street, which is one of the nicest streets to live on here. Again, if you want to know where to look from a lot perspective and what will hold up market value, utilize us. We'd love to help you. But on that street, it's called Delcois. It's a French word. A lot of the theme of this neighborhood is sort of French and Mediterranean-ish. And you see some of the houses here that you'll come across. But on Delcois, at the end of it, they have a preserve, and it's one of the nice things. If you want to just walk in the Florida woods, that's one of the benefits, one of the features, one of the amenities when it comes to buying a home here in Artistry in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. So here is one of the benefits to living in Artistry. One of the pros when it comes to living and moving to Artistry in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida is this. This is like a real Florida forest. The nice walking trails, as you can see. It's not like it's in the middle of nowhere. They have a trail. See this? Whoops, that you can walk through. You're sort of, if you don't want to just walk paths and the streets and so forth, this is a good amenity to have. So, we're on a preserve here. It's nice to have this. There are other communities I know that have this and people love it. If you're a walker, this is a great thing to have. Arden's one that has it. Avenir has it. So this one is unique from the standpoint they actually have a nice, distinguished trail in the middle of the forest, and it goes pretty far. So that's one of the benefits when it comes to moving and buying a home here in Artistry in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. Artistry, Palm Beach Gardens, paradise here in South Florida.